Brothers, I want to welcome you back to the most important meeting happening in a European world sector right now. See, I don't know if you believe that, because the way you just clapped, it's like you don't believe that this is the most important meeting. So brothers, I want to welcome you back to the most important meeting going on right now in the European world sector. You know, as a young man, he was out in the fields looking after his father's business. As a young man, he was anointed and told he would be king. As a young man, he defended the nation against its biggest oppressor. As a young man, he served and was almost killed by the king. Before David was an excellent king, he was firstly an excellent young man. An excellent single professional. Dare I say, some of his most inspiring times were of him as an excellent single professional. My name is Orebiyi. I'm an actor, a voiceover artist. I have been in movies on Amazon, Apple TV. I've done voiceover work for BBC, for ITV. I've been all over the place. And now I am privileged enough to lead the singles ministry of the London International Christian Church. But not only that, the incredible woman that I lead it with is going to be my wife in a month. But not only that, we have two businesses together. I want to thank you very much, Michael, for giving me this opportunity to speak on excellent single professionals. What made David an excellent single professional? You sure you want to know? Who's ready for a short Bible study right now? Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 18. I'm going to read quite a lot. So listen. 1 Samuel chapter 18 from verse 1, it says, after David had finished talking with Saul, Jonathan became one in spirit with David, and he loved him as himself. From that day, Saul kept David with him and did not let him return to his father's house. And Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as himself. Jonathan took off his robe he was wearing and gave it to David, along with his tunic and even his sword, his bow, and his belt. Whatever Saul sent him to do, David did it so successfully that Saul gave him a high rank in the army. This pleased all the people and Saul's officers as well. When the men were returning home after David had killed the Philistine, the women came out from the towns of Israel to meet King Saul, and singing and dancing with joyful songs and with tambourines and lutes. As they danced, they sang, Saul has slain his thousands, David his tens of thousands. Saul was very angry. Now go down to verse 12. Saul was afraid of David, because the Lord was with David, but had left Saul. So he sent David away from him and gave him command over 1,000 men. And David led the troops in their campaigns. In everything he did, he had what? He had what? Great success. Why? Because the Lord was with him. Point number one. Excellence in worship. You see, David experienced success in everything he did. The word for success there is sakal, which is to prosper. David prospered in every single thing he did. Why? Because David understood a concept. He understood one particular thing. David understood that you gotta take the Lord with you, children, everywhere you go. You gotta take the Lord with you, children, everywhere you go. You gotta take the Lord with you, children, everywhere you go. In the streets, in the home, on the job, on the road, highway, byway, highway, Bowing all the time. David understood that before I win with the sword, I have to win understanding the word. David understood that before I win in the streets, I have to win on my knees. David understood that the excellence in the open starts with the excellence in secret. David understood that huge promotions came from honest prayers. David understood that it was impossible for him to be excellent without excellent worship.
Come on. Preach.
Another thing David understood was excellence in humility. Right? It says in verse 18, but David said to Saul, after Saul had said he wants to give his daughter to him in marriage, it said, who am I? And what is my family or my father's clan in Israel that I should become the king's son-in-law? Regardless of all the victories David had, he did not think it something worthy, something to just be thought of like something that he could throw away to be counted as royalty with the king. Kind of reminds me of someone. Jesus Christ, when he came on earth, did not count equality with the Father something to behold. He chose humility. Being an excellent single professional is being excellent in service. Look at this.
Come on, bro.
In verse 24, when Saul's servants told him what David had said, Saul replied, say to David, the king wants no other prize for the bride than 100 Philistine foreskins. I don't know about you. Have you ever, who has a brother here? Like a physical brother. Have you ever grappled your brother? Like had a little fight? You know when it gets a little bit serious and you have to call time out? Okay, stop now. It's enough. That's just a play fight. Now imagine actually fighting someone. Just one person. Now imagine showing a man that you want to take his foreskin. Now imagine showing 100 men that you want to take their foreskin. You see, the Bible states that when Saul gave that to David, he said, surely he will die. It was an impossible task. But David went above and beyond. Not only 100, but 200. David was excellent in worship. David was excellent in humility. And David was excellent in service. To God be all the glory.
Greater things that have been done before. Even greater.